Hello, and welcome to Cruel and Unusual Storytime, with your host, Simon Dexter. I thank you for joining me on the very first installment of the program. To begin, I cannot name how many times I opened what I hoped to be a good creepypasta, only to be sorely disappointed and find it to be nonsensical plot, overabundance of blood, and just poor storytelling. But you know what, if you're like me, you're sick of it too. And it's time to really put them on blast. The poorly told, poorly written, and just point-blank overrated stories that have earned our hate. Well, that is what I offer you, ladies and gentlemen. A reprieve from reviewers who can only see the good. I am your friendly cynic, and I am here to show you you are not alone. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read you a story, word for word. Don't want you to lose anything in summarization, unless it's painfully necessary. Throughout said story, I'll make any snide remarks I just can't hold back, no matter how much I try. And when it's all over, I'll have my thoughts gathered and give my farewells until next time. So for our first episode, I decided to begin with a creepypasta genre that tends to have a lot less hits than misses, and that is haunted gaming. Now don't get me wrong, there are plenty of good haunted gaming creepypastas, but I don't know if it's just me, but a lot of those tend to leave me feeling stupider after reading them. Today we begin with, in my opinion, the cream of the crop in the poor haunted gaming category. A story that left me scratching my head and extremely disheartened after the first read. Ladies and gentlemen, Conker's Worst Fur Day. Well, I am so scared right now. I just played a fucked up game/ROM called Conker's Worst Fur Day. Anyways, I guess I should tell you my story. Or aren't you pretentious? I'm sorry, but that whole let me tell you my story line just seems so arrogant to me. It's like, why don't you just say what you feel? Let me share you my awesome journey of self-discovery! Or, be honest at least and say, here's a little thing I typed up about a Conker game. I think it might have been haunted or something. But that's just my opinion. Back to the story. When I was younger, I owned an N64, and for my birthday, I got a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day. It was a game meant for adults, due to swearing, blood, nudity, sexual references, etc. Yeah, nudity. I mean the great tits on that plant, and that one penis that I've never even seen but was only told about. Yeah, you know your facts, alright. Oh, guys, pay attention to this. This is perhaps my favorite part of the whole story. My parents just saw the cover and thought, oh, this looks like a cute game, perfect for our son's birthday. And here's the thing, here's the cover of the game. What's the first thing you notice about this? Oh, maybe the blaring M in the corner there? The little line that says, this game should not be played by anyone under 17, fact Conker's holding a beer, etc. Oh, and my favorite part, because I haven't read this in a while, so I see there's an update now. And here's the update. My parents got me a used copy of the game, and they probably, that's how it was spelt, didn't see the rating, because it was smaller on the cartridge. Well, here's a few things I can assess from this. A, how would your parents look at this game and think it was a cute game perfect for your son's birthday if this is what the cover on the cartridge alone looks like? Oh, and you know what? Even if it is smaller, the M is still there, and back in the early days, parents were really paying attention to the rating system, I'm sure. So, there's two things I can guess from this. Either his parents are ridiculously stupid, or they just didn't give two shits about him. And if I had to guess, it was probably the second one, because I've only read 2 paragraphs of his story, and I can sure say this, I don't give 2 shits about him either. Anyways, I used to love that game. I did not tell my parents about it, because I knew they would return it. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Anyways, I loved playing through it and I laughed a lot. I would have laughed more if I knew what some of the jokes meant before. Okay, so earlier today, I was watching a YouTube video about Sonic, and I came across a video called Eggman is the Great Mighty Pooh. I knew I heard that somewhere, Then I saw something called Conker's Bad Fur Day, Great Mighty Pooh. Okay. Why does it keep saying okay? Please stop. After seeing this, I thought, hey, I remember this game. I sure as hell hope so, or this story is going nowhere fast. Suddenly, I felt an extremely big urge to play the game. Again, I certainly hope so. I had already had... Oh boy. I had already had an N64 emulator, Project 64, which I used to relive games like Mario 64, Zelda, etc. Now, gaming writer people, I really don't care what you use to play your games. Nobody cares. I see this so many times and just kind of adds a random fact that no one really needs to know about. You obviously have something that can play the game or you wouldn't be playing it. So please, please, stop sharing so much about what you're using to play games, because, again, nobody cares. Back to the story. So I googled Conker ROM, exactly like that. After I hit I'm feeling lucky, weird transition here, I don't remember the site name, because I wanted to play the game. Enter the cliché excuse to why you have no visible proof that your game actually exists. Which I just remember I have used in my stories. Which means I have no right to bitch about this one. Aww. It opened a near blank page. It's just a button in the middle that said, Download Conker's Worst Furday.zip. I know it sounds dumb that I didn't notice that the name was odd, but I clicked the button anyway. My boy, you've passed the threshold of sounding dumb a long time ago. You are now sounding idiotic. When it was done, I started playing. It didn't open to the cute jumping N64 logo, and Conker cutting in half with a chainsaw. Why is Conker not capitalized? It's a name, you bastard. It started with a grey squirrel like the one in the bar on the main menu, running in a poorly lit room, then a mangled, bloody, wounded... It begins. And a mangled, bloody, wounded Conker appeared behind him and sawed him in half with a chainsaw, spilling guts, bones, etc. everywhere. I need a drink after that sentence. Then Conker looked at the screen with his torn-up, bloody face and said, Oh great, dialogue. I'm going to read this dialogue exactly how it was written. You're in for hell, fucker! Note the sin of unnecessary capitalization. It is as annoying to see random all-capped words in a sentence as it is for me to yell in your ear out of nowhere. Moving on. The voice of Conker seemed off. It was a lot deeper, the audio quality was very bad. The strange thing was that in Conker, the word fuck is censored, but in this ROM it wasn't. Really. So the really random, gory, violent opening you just witnessed wasn't strange at all. No, the strange thing was that Conker said fuck. Oh no! Oh god. I didn't realize this at first, and damn, that was that. That was that. You're getting me 2 for 2. You're killing me. That was that. A bad idea to keep going with the ROM. Anyway, the game started with Conker entering the bar as usual. But instead of the menu showing up, when Conker entered the bar, all you could hear was a loud, eerie, depressing moaning. I instantly turned down the volume, because I'm very paranoid of certain sounds. Moaning relates to an incident that dates back to my childhood, and a scary movie, which we get no clarification on, that's just it. And out from under the door of the bar, blood started seeping through and mixing in the puddle from the rain. Rammed. Then the screen faded out to black. Then it showed the beginning area where you start the game and you have the hangover. Finally, I can play, I thought. That was not a good thing. Of course not. Anyways, I started, but there was no cutscene and Conker was fine. I pressed B, and Conker swung a chainsaw and put it away. Cool! I get a chainsaw instead of a stupid frying pan. Now the gamer in me wants to agree with this. However, that would force me to agree with this, and quite frankly, that would just kill me inside. Anyways, I jumped the fence to speak to Birdie. Why isn't Birdie capitalized? It's his name! Damn you! When I walked up to him, Conker looked at him and said, "Hey, shithead, give me some help." Charming. Then Birdie, still uncapitalized, the Scarecrow, looked at him and said, "Why the fuck do you need anything? You know how to play, moron." WTF? Wow, I cannot say that without a Valley Girl inflection. Thanks for making us both sound like idiots. Anyway, WTF, I thought. I just took a deep breath and continued. It was true. I learned the controls by running around a bit before talking to Birdie, still uncapitalized. Then Conker looked at Birdie, not even gonna say it this time, just gonna walk right past it, and said, "You fucking shithole, I'll cut your fucking head off." Writing lessons with Uncle Simon! Overuse of vulgarity does not make your story any more interesting or any more scary. If anything, it only makes it more juvenile. Moving on. Then a light bulb appeared above Conker's head, and this time Conker is uncapitalized again. I pressed B, then the game entered a cutscene. It was very dark for some reason, and the place was only illuminated by constant lightning flashes. Anyhow, the game just flashed a picture of Conker killing Birdie with his chainsaw. Then the same Conker voice said, "Rotten hell, fucker." Ooh, Conker, you smooth. Boy. All of the game still showed the dark room. After, Conker suddenly appeared in the black area, and I got to play again. Then I noticed that this was the same place where Birdie was. But Birdie was gone now. Because you killed him. You just saw that. You just explained that. Ugh. I made my way up the mountain path, but the gargoyle was not there. For some odd reason, there was a strange hissing noise in the background, so I headed in the cave. Is it just me, or is like the whole first half of this paragraph not made sense? Am I tired? Am I crazy? I don't know, let's just keep reading. I was expecting to appear in the bright, happy field with the nasty or nice fork in the road. Instead, Conker entered the path up to the haunted house. I walked up, but I forgot about the skeleton snakes and got attacked by one. Instead of being chewed up and spit out, it showed the snake put Conker on the ground and start mauling him, biting him over and over, revealing his guts, bones, and eyes start spilling out. I am regretting so many life choices at this moment. Then the skeleton snake let out a demonic cry. Little tip, demonic isn't really that scary anymore. Most people aren't that religious, and even those who still are just don't find demons as scary as they did in, I don't know, Middle Ages. Try to think of something else, distorted, twisted, anything else. Moving on. I jumped out of the road and dug back into the ground. I was waiting for the game to restart back at the checkpoint, then instead showed up a fucked up, hurt, bloody, wounded Conker in a seemingly endless room filled with zombies, like from the graveyard level. It showed Conker on the ground, guts, blood, etc., lying all around him. And it showed his face. I got so shocked in the scene I turned around and let my stomach settle. Then I looked back at the cut-up, bloody Conker face, missing his eyes, and it showed empty sockets. You know, I think he cut out the pissing part. Yeah, he replaced it with the settling thing. It used to say he was so just disturbed by this, he had to go take a piss. I'm not seeing that here, so I'm assuming he got rid of it. Let's keep reading and see how it goes, but I think he got rid of it. Yeah, I don't think he got out of that one, buddy boy. Some of us remember the original quite well. And after that, he let out a moan. He said, oh good, more dialogue again. I'm gonna say it exactly as he wrote it. Remember last time, you know where I'm heading with this. You never know a good thing until it is gone! When Conker said gone, it was so loud and terrifying I shut off the sound. Just like I'm sure some of you did just now. because it's obnoxious. The sound startled me so bad I nearly pissed myself. So I ran to the— He didn't cut it out! There it is! Found it! Ran to the bathroom and returned. The screen showed Conker being devoured by endless amount of zombies. Then when all that was left was the disturbing head of Conker. I'm sorry. That amused me. Okay, moving on. Zombies faced the screen and started walking towards it. Then I tried pressing B. When I did, a shotgun was pulled out. The game seemed like a first-person shooter, so it was like Halo, sort of. If you know any first-person shooter that has existed before and after Halo, broaden your mind, for crying out loud. I pressed Z, and it fired a shot, holding off the zombies. I remember that in Conker, zombies must get a headshot to die, so I killed them one by one until there was no more. Suddenly the Conker head began to moan a little, so I ran over, knowing I would have to see the head, but I felt like I had to. The screen showed Conker's head lying there, and he said, more fantastic dialogue. Don't be like me. Learn to love and don't love money. Be kind. Promise me you will do this. Jeez Louise, there are Disney deaths, the acting in The Wicker Man, and this, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Conker's Worst Fur Day has killed the drama meter. The game didn't do anything, and by now I had tears running down my face, and I nodded my head. Because remember, people, the life of a video game character, which is designed to die repeatedly, is the most precious life of all. Especially when in that game that character is the biggest jackass. So let's all take a moment of silence for Conker. And silence over. Then Conker's head let out one last gasp and said, "Good." Now it sounded like Conker. Then the screen darkened out and the emulator closed itself. Then I deleted the ROM and turned off my computer. Even now I can still hear his voice echoing in the back of my head. But I know that the ROM was a message to me. I used to be greedy. I was a porn addict. What? I'm sorry. I don't think that used to be there. Either that or I am spacey as hell tonight. Okay. Etc. So, let it also be a message to you. Okay? Good. Also, there's an update. I mean, I kind of like the abrupt ending personally, but if you want to ruin it with an update, okay. Update. I've tried to return to the site that had the ROM on it. I managed to get the ROM out of the recycling bin. I can only get a screenshot of the ROM for some reason. I try to load the ROM, I get a window that says, "Error, attempt to open zip file failed. Missing or corrupt file. Check path and file. May need to restart the application." Oh, and this screenshot he's talking about. I'm not going to post it here just because, I don't want to use his things on my thing. But it's just a screenshot of his desktop, and there's a folder that says Conker's Worst Fur Day. Compelling, isn't it? I tried to extract the file, but that didn't work. I got it onto my new computer, and it still doesn't work. I'm not going to upload the ROM either. Nobody deserves to go through the same thing I did. Maybe the update has been there, because I remember that part. Oh, whatever. That's the end of Conker's Worst Fur Day, people. Now, wasn't that something? Plus it doubled as a creepypasta and an after-school special. Now, here are just some final thoughts to leave you with. What's wrong with this story? Well, what isn't wrong with this story? It focused so much on violence, which has stopped being a really scary aspect a long time ago. Now, I have gotten some pleasure out of Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's a very fun and original game, but this story goes in the opposite direction entirely and becomes super generic. So generic, in fact, that it becomes borderline silly and boring. Now, I know a lot of people write these just for funsies and aren't exactly English majors, and all the grammar stuff I bitched about was kind of more just me being nitpicky. Hell, I'm king nitpicky, if anything. But when it gets to a certain degree, it's just super distracting. More distracting than you think it would be. Overall, though, I think Conker's Worst for a Day has a special place in the Hall of Storytelling Infamy. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for future stories you'd like me to read and review, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to get some good suggestions on some bad stories. If you would like to read the story for yourself in this video, and see I wasn't exaggerating much, I'll leave a link in the description below. Remember, the worse the stories are for me, the better it'll be for you. I'll see you all real soon.